dark.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dark Punks Podcast, the dirtiest place this side of the roadhouse, and the only podcast on the entire internet to hear about Twin Peaks. I am, of course, DemonPeaks, Sean, and this is GothPeaks, Adam. Say hello, Adam.
Hey, yeah.
He's been doing a Christian Slater thing all day. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Was that Christian Slater? Come on, after you mentioned the Christian Slater thing, that's when I put up the horns and stuck the
What are you, Ronnie James Dio, then? What do you mean? What am I supposed to say? Bugging out a little bit.
I don't know. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, today's show, we're going to be looking at season 2. We got the season fucking 2 of Twin Peaks. You believe that?
That's fucking wild.
I didn't think this podcast would last this long.
Why? You had that little faith?
You thought the same thing. I mean, we just didn't really know.
No,
this isn't really a real podcast. Like, it's just us talking about bullshit. Season 2, episode 1. May the giant be with you. They didn't get sued by George Lucas for that. You know, yeah, it's kind of a thing, right? Like
it's kind of a wink,
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which, as we know, David Lynch almost directed Return of the Jedi, but he didn't because he's not an idiot. Because Star Wars sucks.
Yes.
All your people who did our opening song, "Lula is in Trouble." The song is "Midnight Coffee." If you're on the tubes, our logo and artwork are done by Corvid Days. Find them on Etsy. Look them up. They do amazing work. Really great person to work with. And the show opening was done by Adam himself. Good job.
Did I make that?
You did. You actually did a really good job with that. You got quite the talent for I don't know, things. People like your things. Let's talk about your things.
Shit.
Talking about your things. You got yourself into a dill of a pickle the other day. A bit of a dill of a pickle. And I want to give my opinion first off. As I've mentioned many times, this is about John Depp and the young Amber Heards. I don't give a fuck about them. If they both died in a fire tomorrow, I would not give two shits. But it's quite a contentious litigation that they're in. People are quite up in arms about it. You made yourself
entertaining, dude.
You made yourself a meme. Gone Girls, where you had Miss Heard.
I've got another one in here. I'm just waiting to put it out.
You know, I don't do topical stuff very often because I'm not topical, like ever. I don't know what's going on. Is why, and I don't care most of the time. But you get a little bit provocative occasionally.
It's fun, and it's like, and I'm like listening on like little bits and pieces of the case. So.
But it's a hilarious. I don't give a fuck about these people. They're a bunch of rich idiots that were in a shitty relationship. He's a guy who abandoned his family for some young broad, and obviously she's crazy as sin. But that's like, they're both pieces of shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about these people. They got more money than fucking I'll ever see in my life. What do I give a fuck about them?
You sound jealous.
I'm not jealous. I like Johnny Depp. I like him as an actor, but I don't care about his life. Like,
I get it.
Give a fuck about Johnny. Oh, poor Johnny Depp. His girlfriend beat him. I don't give a fuck about that. And she's clearly a cunt. Both of them are idiots.
It's wild just watching.
But I enjoy the clips that I'm seeing because it's such a shit show of a of a it's not a criminal case, it's a civil case, but it's such a shit show of a civil case. Like her lawyers are so bad at this, and
So bad.
he's Johnny Depp. You put him on the stand, he's going to be charming. He's been charming his whole career. He's going to just be that guy. You can't put a guy like that on the stand and expect him not to turn on the movie star thing.
The charm.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy that has been loved by America for 30 fucking years. Like he's going to be that guy.
I believed him to be that guy.
He may be that. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if he's that guy or not. It matters if in court they think he's that guy.
Yeah,
that's what matters to him. I'm sure Johnny Depp is I think we all know what kind of person he's a drug addicted, weird dude who is an actor. He's an actor with a lot of money. That's what they do. That's what they do. They become, he thinks he's Hunter Thompson. He's the spirit of Hunter Thompson in him. Mm-hmm. And he's fine. He's a fine whatever. I'm not a huge fan. I don't like her. I don't know if I've ever seen her anything at all.
I dig it, dude. I don't know. I think, and I'm sure you've noticed this about me too, that I can get into the idea of digging a big personality like that, you know?
Yeah.
I think I buy into that shit. I find it
you're okay. So I use a lot of pro wrestling terminology when I talk to you, and it's confusing sometimes. You're what we call a mark. You know what a mark is?
No.
A mark is a person who believes it's real. You're a mark.
Yeah. Definitely I buy into the narrative. Yeah.
You're
into the narrative.
We've talked this before. You're a very romanticized person. You like the idea of romance. You're romantic about romance.
Yeah. And I think you can bring that into the way I look at a lot of shit. I think it's what helps me maintain
it's not a negative.
A somewhat. I'm not saying you're saying that. Just giving more context into the
please
the vibe of it. You know, it's just like it is, because I don't know what else to call it, dude. Because I romanticize a lot of shit, and
you do, and I
think
it's charming about you. It's very sweet. You come off as very sincere.
What I think it helps me though with it, I think it helps me maintain a somewhat like semi-artistic view on a lot of things that I see and what I consume. You know, so. I think it shows through in your memes. People really like you have a very simple take on things in your memes. It's a very a very simple, sort of sweet, and people really, not anymore. The funny thing is, I was looking at the people who were commenting, and none of those people followed me. And so I want to say there's a certain level of humor that they don't appreciate, because I think that's safe to say.
What was the first long Twin Peaks thing I did was Danger 5. I posted so many Hitler memes. It was almost like I was almost offended by it. What do I do? He's the main character of the fucking show. I gotta, you know what I mean? And it's funny. So those people were definitely put off by the level of Hitler.
See, these memes that we're talking about, they're filters, is what they are.
Yeah, and most of the time we just post. Both of us just post like regular things that we like, but occasionally you post something and people don't like it. Like I post some provocative, but the people that like me expect it. Like I showed you that one that was Leland about the sexual fantasy. It was Leland banging Laura.
Oh yeah, that was.
People got a little bit mad about
super
it.
Dark,
but. For me, that's it. I'm not making light of sexual assault. Laura Palmer is not a real character. She's not a real person. Like, she's not real. Like, it didn't really happen to her. So I don't care. You know what I mean? But I would never make light of her. Here's the thing. Comedy is not subjective. Humor is subjective. Comedy is an art form. Humor is subjective. So if your comedy follows the rules of comedy, which there are, it can be funny. It doesn't matter, but not everybody's gonna find it funny. And that's just how it is, man. So people were quite mad about your meme, and the one girl
was really that bad.
3 accounts to complain. She used 3 fucking accounts to complain. The same broad. I assume it was a lady, because they complain a lot, but she used 3 separate accounts just to call you out on it, and she kept saying stuff. I just came back to tell you that I don't like this. You fucking
listen,
you don't like it.
It's fine, dude. Listen, I'm gonna say this about like because it was this meme and the fucking what was it, G.I. Jane 2 meme that really got me a lot of shit, right?
You got a little bit of flack for your Chappelle. You got a little bit.
I didn't see anything about the Chappelle.
There was people that were like, "Oh no, it's Dave Chappelle." I saw 1 or 2 like half-hearted comments.
I know you got shit about your Dave Chappelle one when you used the.
Oh my god! Yeah, with a crack peaks when we did crack peaks.
Yeah.
And I used Dave Chappelle's hilarious. I don't give a fuck about what you think about Dave.
I love Dave Chappelle. I fucking love Dave Chappelle.
And his opinions are his opinions. I'm not gonna sit here and say they're right or wrong, whatever. I'm not Dave Chappelle. I don't know how he feels about anything. Okay, but that shit was funny. I had him with the crack with the Garmin Bozia. Oh, that was that. I killed it. I'm so proud of that.
Hell yeah. You should be.
Yeah,
it was fucking peaks. Hilarious.
No one's doing the peaks that I'm doing. No one's doing crack peaks. No one's doing the weird shit. That's what I do. And,
you're right.
And I kind of got stuck in the Coen Brothers thing because I just did Brother Art Peaks.
No.
I just did Brother Art Peaks, Coen Brothers.
Oh yeah, you're fucking doing great with that.
And I had done No Country for Old Peaks originally.
That was really good.
And I'm gonna do Barton Peaks. I'm gonna do Barton Fink Peaks.
Interesting.
I love Barton Fink, and I think there's a lot of potential. I don't know when I'm doing because I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, you got any memes in the work? Any good memes?
I'm gonna, I'm starting to get into the habit of. I haven't done it recently, but what I want to do every Friday is I want to do a mashup of Robert Smith and Bob.
Oh, I like it's Friday. So, do your
Friday I'm in love.
Yeah, Friday I'm in love. Friday I'm Bob.
Sure. Robert Smith, Bob.
No, Robert Smith. It's Friday I'm Bob. You know what I mean? Like, because I know Meme Holland Drive does like Thursday or Sunday. They do like a big. Here's a bunch of shit memes that they made, and it works out well for them.
Like a big shit post. Yeah. I love that they made a post for you and also for fucking Peaks in the Hall. That was awesome.
The Peaks in the Hall is a nobody. We're not talking about that. We're talking about me. I successfully agitated Meme Holland Drive enough to be noticed, and that's what it was. They obviously didn't really get agitated, but I successfully agitated them enough to be like, "God damn it, DemonPeaks, stop making stuff about us." That's what it was. It was like he called us out. We get it. Fine. Okay.
It's pretty funny.
Because now that I don't know if everybody knows, but Wholesome Peaks is dead to me. Legitimately. She's got no sense of
a lot of people.
I don't give a fuck about her. You know what I mean? I thought she was my friend, and then she's too worried about, I don't know what she's talking about. Some job is gonna find her meme page and get mad at her. Get the fuck
fine.
out, you fucking piece of shit.
Relax.
I can say what I want. Fuck you. Get out of here, piece of shit. So last episode, I was quite drunk. I'm still a little tipsy. I was quite sick. I'm still not feeling great, but no cancer.
Fuck no cancer. We're celebrating that, dude.
I got problems with my lung. I got a problem with my jaw. I got a problem. I told you the laundry list. They gave me a laundry list of things that was wrong with me. They're like, you got to go get like 9 vials of blood taken and all this other shit. And they're like, you got everything wrong with you. Like,
any abortion leakage recently from your butt?
Did we talk about that last episode? My asshole leaking out like a crazy person. I had
it was from your medication.
From the clindamycin. I'm allergic to clindamycin and amoxicillin. And the clindamycin made me bleed out the asshole like I was a fucking stuck pig. I was bleeding like I showed you a picture of my leg that was just blood leaking down it.
Yeah, it was pretty disgusting.
I was like wiping my ass, and it wasn't even shit. There wasn't even shit in my ass. It was just blood. I would go to the bathroom and just fucking plop out a pound of blood. And then I'm puking blood.
What it reminded me of though was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo when she's taking the shower after her horrible fucking incident.
And I already
where she got
spit
fucking
blood
raped.
every morning and I piss blood. So I went to the doctor to be like, listen, man, I got to figure out what the fuck's wrong with me. I got a kid. I don't want to die. And they were like, okay. The doctor was really cool. He was like, man, we're gonna test you for everything. So anxiety, depression, hypertension, something wrong with my lung, I got something wrong with my jaw, I got something wrong with my neck, I got something wrong with my brain. That's
You
where
definitely got
we're at.
something with your brain for
So,
sure.
yeah. Well, I when I was a teenager, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, which is like
How do you define that?
it's kind of schizophrenia, like a real mild schizophrenia, I guess you want to call it. And I wouldn't take the medication because so I just took a bunch of LSD until they put me in a crazy house. I think I told you that my half sister locked me in it. They took me to the crazy place, and because I went feral. I had scabies. I was doing LSD. I was eating raw meat. I was attacking people on the street. I was doing all kinds of weird shit. Took me to the crazy place. Great. It was a great place. Great food. She said, "Here you go," and they were like, I voluntarily checked in, but they said after 72 hours, you're not going anywhere. But that's a different story. So crypto went belly up. You see this?
No, I don't pay attention to anything about crypto.
The crypto went shit to shit, which is fine. But I think it's a little mean spirited. I'm seeing people like really proud of it, and it was just people trying to it was poor people trying to make money the way rich people make money.
Oh, I wouldn't be rooting for honest people trying to, make money.
But you see this stuff. They're like, oh, I'm so happy everybody's losing their, and it's like, you're happy that poor people
they don't like crypto or what?
Well, it's that. Well, what it is the media has put crypto in such a position that it's a bad thing.
Okay.
Well, what's the difference between it and the stock market? Nothing. And the rich people manipulate the stock market all the time. This was poor people trying to make money to not be poor, and we're celebrating poor people remaining poor. Oh well, that's great. Thanks.
I'm just so fucking unattracted to crypto, if that makes sense.
I have a little bit. I dabbled in it just because like I like to try to keep things kind of like see what's out there. I lost a little bit of money, I gained a little bit of money. I'm not really that interested in that. But I think it's mean spirited to celebrate people losing money that are already poor.
Yeah, that's not fun.
If Jeff Bezos lost all his money, I'd fucking punch him in the mouth and be happy because he's a cunt. But if
I don't want him to lose all that money before he can do something fucking amazing with it.
He's not going to do anything with it. He's going to sit on it and then die and be buried with it like a fucking pharaoh. So this episode was directed by David Lynch, written by David Lynch and Mark Frost, which is a good sign.
Oh yeah,
we come out the last
golden duo right there.
Oh well, Mark Frost is okay.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have Mark Frost write it and David Lynch direct it, I mean, I think that's a good.
I think together they're a real competent duo.
Absolutely.
David separately, I've discussed David's shortcomings, but Mark Frost is not a David Lynch. He's not anywhere in the ballpark, unfortunately.
Yeah,
coming out of the last big finale, which was a hell of a finale.
Fuck yeah.
I want to talk about the finale real quick. So, Twin Peaks wasn't the first show to do cliffhangers, obviously, not by a long shot, but it was still a rare thing. And since then, it's been kind of a normalized thing. Shows influenced by Twin Peaks, Sopranos, Lost, etc., do the big finale. How do you feel about the big finale? Are you for it? Are you tired of it? Do you like it? Do you feel annoyed by it?
I think it depends on what kind of show I'm watching, because it can be a show where not a whole lot of big crazy stuff happens, and it also depends on how it's done. I think that's my answer for a lot of those kinds of questions. So how I feel about how people end the show.
Do you feel like it's overdone? The big cliffhanger. The cliffhanger finale. Yeah. Are you tired of it sometimes? Especially with streaming now. Like you burn through and then you get to this ending and you're like, what the fuck?
That's true. I mean, no, because I still get invested enough where I'm like where I feel it in the moment, you know, and so that's what it's about for
Well,
me, about the moment.
the first time I really felt that, I was a big Lost fan, but I didn't watch it until the show was done because I don't like to watch shows until they're done. I like to just watch it straight through. And so I used to work 10 to 6 as a security guard, and I'd come home at 6 a.m. and I'd start drinking and I'd put Lost on, and I'd get to the season finale, I'd be like, oh my God, it was blew me. I'm like, what's going on? There's 90 things happening. And it blew
You're
me
just
away.
alone making a bunch of noise.
I'm alone. I'm drinking. I'm making a bunch of noise. My girlfriend's sleeping. Whichever girlfriend it was at the time, and I loved it. So I really was into it. Doctor Who does the same thing, where it does a mixture. It gives you a conclusion, and has a like a
bit of a new beginning.
Did you see David Tennant's back for a little bit?
What?
Yeah, for the 60th anniversary, David Tennant is back as the Doctor with Donna Noble. At least for one episode.
Dude, people hated on Donna. I love Donna.
Dude, I fucking I love Donna. A, she wasn't a romantic interest, which I loved. B, she had so much personality and a good sense of humor, and they were so good. She would kind of like browbeat him a little bit and keep on top of him about, hey, you're being a piece of shit, dude. Don't be a piece of shit. And I even remember in the first episode she's in with the spider and she's getting married, and she doesn't join the doctor. She doesn't join the doctor. And he goes, you want to be with me? Come with me. And she's like, no, but you need someone to stop you from doing what you're doing. Like to stop you from being a monster. And like I loved that because David Tennant's character was on this like collision course with being a bad guy. And he, if you watch like The Waters of Mars, when he's like the time is mine to control, and you know what I mean, and he's like fucking going crazy. And I love that they foreshadowed it really early on with Donna. But he's back. They casted a new doctor. I like the look of the guy. He's a black guy, black British guy. Looks good.
It's not Richard Ayo.
No, Iowati. He won't do it. He said he would never do it.
I know.
He'd be okay. Here's the thing. He'd be a better master.
I think you told me this before.
I think so.
I think we talked about it on this podcast.
We may have, but Richard Iowati as the master, just being like the bad guy, but being so awkward, would be hilarious.
I think that could work. Oh yeah.
He's like, oh no, but I'm evil.
But dude, this episode though, I gotta say, is probably my fucking one of my favorites as far as Twin Peaks is concerned.
Rewatching it, let's get into it. We get this brilliant opening.
Love
Note from Audrey. Andy's on the phone. Old guy shows up with some warm milk. And let's talk about the warm milk.
I want to talk about the old guy.
The milk will get cool on you. Oh, and the phone. Did you call anybody for help? I hung it up. The phone is hung up. Oh, love him.
It's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. But I have a mild theory about this, and this is going to bring in the lore of the return and all that stuff, electricity, all that shit into it. I feel like,
electricity. Yeah,
that thing. But I feel like he fucking had to hang up the phone because electricity and from the telephone and the wire of the cable and all that stuff was interfering with him conjuring up the giant to come in and all that shit,
I really like that. I've never
that's why he was like
before.
what is this? I can't and like,
the way
I hung it up for you.
And the way he handles the phone is so awkward. Like, and you think it's him being goofy, but if you give that perspective to it, it's that he's having trouble with the phone. You know what I mean?
So that was really fun to think about.
I never thought of that. I like that. I really like that. That's very cool. The giant and this guy, but okay. Cooper here. Does this include a gratuity?
I love it.
Oh, this is Dale like at his best ridiculousness.
I think it represents the whole, I'm going to say vibe again. his whole vibe, the whole vibe he carries that, you know, gives him the sense of adventure. He's going with the flow, going with the dialogue, and just, you know,
It's not,
taking it as it comes.
he's nonplussed, you know, he's like,
Yeah.
and I do something that Cooper does here that I didn't know I did. I do two things Dale Cooper does that was pointed out to me recently. This thing I do to my daughter, because she does it back. She does it to me now. I do.
Oh, yeah.
No. And this. My baby's mama was like, you do this all the time because of that fucking television show you watch. When I want someone to stop talking, I'll do this, like Cooper does. I never realized I do it. And then I thought back, I'm like, yeah, I do that all the time. I do it. Just do it at like restaurants. I'd be like, nope, hold on. So then we get, honestly, this comedy here is perfect Lynch. It's funny and dark, and there's a sense of mystery, and it moves the plot along. This is like perfect Lynch in the game. And we get the Giants. So the question is, where have you gone? Now, I took the where have you gone as a later Bob thing. Because what it says, where have you gone? And that never comes back around.
I'm sorry, who said that again?
The Giant. He goes to Cooper and he goes, the question is, where have you gone?
Okay.
And they never follow up on that. And I assume, if I look at it now, it looks like a Bob. He's been stuck in the room for 20. That's what I took that as. And then we get the three things. There's a man in a smiling bag. The owls know what they seem. Without chemicals, he points. And we get a fourth. Leo locked inside a hungry horse. Now, this is good. This is good. I like these. I like these because we're getting. My big complaint was that it's a detective show that doesn't have any detective work in it.
Yeah.
This episode has detective work in it by Cooper, by everyone else, and by the Giant. So he takes Cooper's ring to prove that he's sincere. And then we move to a scene that I don't like, where the horn guys are shown to be the fucking worst.
Oh yeah, that was fucking awful.
Why is Jerry, the girl, she just wants some tits, which is the heroin, bag of heroin. She's a heroin addict. Why is he fucking with her? Like, and in fact, Jerry Horn has been a monster to every single woman thus far in the show.
He's been pretty bad.
He ignored Cynthia. He's been mean to the prostitutes. He actively insulted the bartender. The only woman he's been nice to is Audrey because it's his niece.
Yeah. Well, think about the kind of place they're in. You can think about it as their own little fucking.
It's their little
black
harem. It's their harem. Yeah. They think of this as their, and they were literally flipping a coin to have sex with a prostitute. You know, a young girl as well.
I mean, they're in a place where Garmin Bozia just fucking rolls around free everywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It just brings out the worst in them.
And here's the question I have for the next part. Ben with Audrey, he doesn't know it's his daughter, her voice, her hair. And I want to say
she's barely fucking like changing her voice.
And you have a 18-year-old daughter, and you may not like if she dressed the same way Audrey dressed in this, but you would still know it was her if she put her fucking hand over her face. Like, absolutely. You know what her body looks like. You know how she looks. You see her. Yeah. She's a human being.
Her voice.
Yeah. I'm just saying, even like her figure and her body, and just, you know what your daughter looks like.
Yeah.
And not in a weird way, but like, I would, if you put my daughter in a dress, I'm going to know what she looks like. Like, I still know who she is. It's not that weird to know, even in a provocative outfit, you'd be like, hey, you look like someone I know. It's weird.
Well, it's also the fucking last thing that he would expect too in this situation.
Yeah, so, but it's not like Audrey wears her clothes. Not provocative, but she shows off her figure regularly in normal dress, tight sweaters, high. She's not exactly modest in the normal way.
Well, I wouldn't think that Ben is the most observant dad.
That's probably true, but her hair and her voice, I would know that anywhere.
Yeah,
Even
I'm sure
even a bad dad knows what his daughter's hair looks like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you know, the scene is impossible to not say rape because she says no, and then he tries to cheat and coerce her into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Using his
there's
fucking
no
boss
way
status
he's not trying to rape this girl. Like, no
oh
way.
yeah,
It's impossible.
awful.
Let's get past that. I don't like it. I don't. It's uncomfortable for me. I think it's
Yucky.
a bad taste. It makes Ben almost irredeemable. Jerry as well, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to Coop, and his monologue is great. I want to. First off, he does the Paul Atreides, like fear speech almost. He almost dips into that. Do you know the Dune?
I don't know that.
So in the book, it's I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is little death.
Oh, yeah,
total obliteration.
sorry,
I will face
I
my
know
fear.
what
Put
you're
it so
talking
through me. I will put it. And I turn my inner eye to see it's, and there's nothing I will remain. Blah blah. But he says it like about fear. And he's telling, I want to climb a tall hill, not too tall. I want to sit some cool grass, not too cool. I want to make love to a beautiful woman that I have genuine affection for. Yeah, same. Like, and he wants to solve the Limburg baby case. Dude, Dale, you are not that old. And he laments Tibet's plight, which that's nice.
Did this show air in China? Did I ask that before?
It did not.
Okay.
I
didn't think so.
I've been on a what is China banning spree recently, like research for a reason that. So I'm reviewing comics that had movies based on them. Mm-hmm. And one of them I'm doing is V for Vendetta.
Yeah. Which
is an epic comic. And honestly, take your time, read my review of this, listen to it on Laytona Micaiah. It's a great, this is probably my most proud review. I'm going to say this right now.
Okay.
But I compare, at the very end, I compare it to the movie. Mm-hmm. And, the Wachowskis did the fucking movie. So that means it was garbage. And I comment that it was so boring that China didn't even censor it. That's how little the movie had to say politically. China didn't censor it. That's how you know this movie has nothing to say. Nothing to say.
That's interesting. I don't know that the China didn't censor it.
Yeah, because they were like, this movie has nothing to fucking say. The comic does. It has a lot to say. The movie doesn't have anything to say. But, yeah. And then the three amigos show up to save Coop. Mm-hmm. I love their Charlie's Angels pose.
Yeah, that's I love that
which
too.
Is intentional. Am I right?
Oh yeah, totally intentional.
And then we come to a great scene. Coop's in the hospital. He wakes up. Leo's shot. Jacques Renault is dead. The mill burned. Shelley and Pete got smoke inhalation. Catherine and Josie are missing. Nadine took too many pills. She's no Iggy Pop. Hello, Sheena. And then he mentioned, we haven't had this much excitement since the Elks Club fire of 59. I want to hear about the Elks Club fire of 59. What the hell happened there? That was close to this. Right? Don't you want to know about the Elks Club fire?
I would think so, yeah.
And conveniently, Leo was shot in his living room. And we talked about this with darling Dale Dupers. The sawmill is burnt to hell here. Like they show it, and it's burnt to the fucking ground. Whereas last episode, not even close. What was burnt?
No, just a little
didn't
bit
make
of
any
fire.
It's a minor continuity issue, just a real strange. Like, oh, the mill is like fucking fucked. Whereas people were working, they were working there while it was on fire. Remember? The Leo really did a hell of a job with one thing of gasoline, and
really did.
Okay, Coop has some broken ribs. Now I have a metal plate with some plastic screws because my rib almost punctured my lung. I cracked the rib. I got kicked in the ribs, cracked my rib. So I know how much a fucking cracked rib hurts. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. Coop is tough, but he's still showing. He's still like limping, and he's hurt. but you know, the level of pain is, I like that they discussed that. And we get to Leland, whose hair is white. He's singing Mersey Dotes by Milton Drake, Al Hoffman, and Jerry Livingston. An intentionally ridiculous song. And then
it's all gibberish.
It's intentionally gibberish. That was like the point of the song. I don't know. It's a you got a good singing voice there.
Thanks.
And then what the fuck does Maddie see? She sees like a dirt, like a thing in the. Talk to me. Tell me. Walk me through this. Walk me through this.
What? That she's looking
like
down,
there's
and
a stain.
she's looking down
stain.
the whole time. She's looking down the whole time, recalling some kind of dream to Sarah. And you know, Sarah is running after Leland after he fucking shows his white hair, singing "Mersey Dotes and Dotes, it's little lambsy Ivy," and I'll take any opportunity to sing it. But no, she sees the fucking little fucking blood puddle, brown blood puddle form, and it scares the ever living shit out of her.
Why is there a blood puddle there?
I think maybe it was actually a diarrhea puddle that was anticipatory for the diarrhea that came out of her when she got scared and saw the future diarrhea
it made
puddle.
No sense. It was my ass blood on that fucking.
Ew. Yeah. What you drinking, buddy?
Vodka.
Nice.
And this is black cherry, sugar free, but the cup is a Jameson bottle.
Nice. Balancing it.
Well, it's just a bottle, you know. I got these for my dead wife a long time ago. They're just cool cups. They're like thick too, you know, they're like that nice thick green glass. Makes me think of did you ever read Watchmen?
I have it, dude, but I never got around to reading.
You can't read, that's why I forgot. So Rorschach's talking. He's walking down the street in New York, and he goes, you know, he said he was offered French love.
No, what'd you call him?
I said Rorschach.
Okay, I heard Rorschach.
I probably said it. You know, I say things intentionally ridiculous, like all the time. And he goes, was offered French love, you know, Swedish love, but not American love. American love is like Coke and green glass bottles. They don't make it anymore.
Nice.
And then we get the Horn Boys with a fantastic scene where Leland pops in and they're dancing and Maisie does it, you know, and I love that scene. This episode is so much good stuff in it.
It's perfect. It's one of my favorites for sure.
And I definitely use this episode for memes a lot more than I thought I did. Do you feel the same way?
I don't know if I really have recently. I will be using it on Friday.
Speaking of that, I've been doing, you know, Community Peaks, the show Community, and the people that do it.
Yeah.
I've been doing Community Peaks, and I made like 5 or 6 of them that I'm going to do this week, and then insult them because fuck them. I think it's funny, but I love that show, so whatever.
I'm looking forward to seeing those.
We then go to Leo's house, and Cooper says something that I love. He's doing deductive reasoning here. Hey, Cooper's being a real detective here. And this makes sense. This is really good. This is really good detective work. I love this scene because one of the first things he says is, these same geese were flying that night. And it's the geese that are on the wall. I love that. I love it. It's just one of those little off the cuff, like real quick. You barely notice it, but that's a really good line. Yeah. These same geese were flying that night. And if you look, Harry is like, he looks at the geese and is like he doesn't know what that means. Shelly is 99 pounds. Did you buy that?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. She's pretty skinny. She's tall though, isn't she?
Actually, yeah. No, so I don't know if I buy the 99 pounds. If she's that, she's that tall, 99 pounds. She'd be more twiggy.
Her and Bobby aren't that different in height. And he's got to be,
I'd say Shelly is like a 118, 115.
I mean, she's a beautiful lady. We're not here to argue about her weight, but I just thought that was a weird thing to say.
I hope she's not 99.
No, that would be quite unhealthy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know her lifestyle.
Ink.
And Harry, did you notice that Coop almost cracks up? He goes, "Get your mind off Shelly for a moment," and
Yeah.
he starts smiling like he almost laughs.
He's just fucking with him. He's just fucking with him.
And then they find Leo's cool duster, but it's ruined because it smells like fucking gasoline. Oh,
You're mourning the loss of
it's
that duster
cool
for sure.
duster. Always Sunny brought back the duster, thank God. And we get a fantastic Albert arrival scene. Harry, do you know who it is? It's Agent Rosenflower.
It's Asian Rosenflower.
And Andy is the Looney Tunes character.
Albert, you're coming in.
Yeah. Can you do it dramatically? Can you take them off dramatically? You got like the wonky eyes though, so it doesn't work. But
yeah.
And Andy does the Looney Tunes. You know, I love it. Then we cut to the guy, the diner.
You had a really good, really nicely made meme recently with Andy and that wrestling guy.
Oh, Danhausen and Hook.
Yeah, that was really well.
The necks are looking good. You know who helped me with my was SeethePeaks. I was watching something he was making, and I started watching what he was doing, and I was like, oh, okay.
Was he like softening the edges or
no? It's a little bit different than that, but I'm not going to get into a whole boring thing. But
we'll talk about it because you did a really good job on
Thank you. Sure. I've been working on my necks, and I did a Seinfeld Laura that looked pretty good. The hair and the neck. Did you see it?
I think I missed it. I got to find that one.
Do you remember the Van Buren boys? Seinfeld, the 8th president of the United States. They hold. Right?
No, dude, I don't.
I did Laura. You know, she holds up her hands, but it's her holding up the Kramer 8. And I was really proud of the hair. I've been working on my necks and stuff like that. It's one of those things that just bothered me a lot. And I watched SeethePeaks do something, and I'm like, man, that makes a lot of sense how he did it. Because I don't know. You know, we're doing this by the seat of our fucking pants. You know what I mean?
I just learn as I do, man. Yeah. Learn as I go and just try different shit, you know?
Thank you I was really happy. I couldn't get Hook's hair because it was all that little like black. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It's not important enough to do.
You got the face perfect and it just looked really good, dude. So
because I don't know if you know who Danhausen. Danhausen is fantastic. He's
I think I've seen his face enough, you know.
Yeah, he's a comedy wrestler. And Hook, do you know who Taz was? The wrestler Taz.
Yeah. They were always flashing his symbol, and
that's his son. Hook is his son.
Nice. That's cool.
Which is kind of cool, like, you know, to see your son do that and whatever. I was happy. I love Danhausen. I like Hook. It's whatever.
Taz was a really small guy. From what
the thing is, he was like 5'9" or 5'10", but for wrestling,
that's small. I can't say
for wrestling in 2001, like that's tiny. You know what I mean? Nowadays, he wouldn't look so bad against a lot of the guys because they're shorter. But you have a guy like Triple H or Steve Austin or The Rock, Undertaker. Tiny. These guys are giants. You know what I mean? Look at like you grew up with Hulk Hogan. You know what I mean? He was 6'7", 6'6". He was a big motherfucker. Like, speaking of which, so I'm doing Werner Herzog month for my reviews, right? You know what I'm doing next month? Hulk Hogan month. No one has this range. No one on YouTube has the range of Werner Herzog month, Hulk Hogan month. And there's a Twin Peaks element to it. The Secret Agent Club has Jack Nance in it.
Woo!
And he plays a mad scientist, and he's like, I'm real proud of this. And it's just like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So we go to the Double R Diner, and we get the hot damn, that pie is good.
Hot damn, that pie is
good. And the fucking sisterhood of the singular brain meet here to argue over Laura's glasses, which for some reason makes Donna like Laura, complete with cocaine addiction and over-sexualization due to problematic relationship with her father. No, it doesn't. It just makes her a cunt. I
Hey,
can't.
fuck off. I actually kind of dug Donna in this
It's
one, dude.
so lazy.
I fucking
So
love it,
bad.
dude.
I
I
can't
love
be
it.
honest with these fucking. Okay, then you tell us what happened at the diner. Because I'm doing it. You tell us what happened at the diner.
It's a bunch of silly shit, but I'm buying into it. That's
Well, why
all.
do why do I have to recap the stuff I hate? Why can't you recap the stuff that I hate?
I don't know, because you do better at describing it. You're more accurate. I'm gonna skip
You watched the
false
same fucking thing
information.
I did.
Did I? I don't know. I'm pretty high. Cheers to you. I don't have alcohol. I just got caffeine and
I can't be honest
500
with you
milligrams
idiots.
of
I'm skipping
THC.
ahead. And we get to Albert. Not only was Cooper a competent detective here, Albert was an awesome doctor here.
Oh yeah.
He proves why he is well respected in the field he's in. Deductions about Cooper being shot, examinations, shot by a right-handed person, 5'6" to 5'10", with a Walther PPK, which is famously James Bond's gun.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Which uses a .32 ACP or 7.65 millimeter bullet. If you didn't know, the newer Walthers use a 9, typically, or 32, but this is the old style. You don't know anything about guns.
I like
Albert,
I like guns, but I'm not a gun guy.
I'm not really either. I have 2 or 3 or 4 guns just because they're funny. I don't have any bullets. So
They're funny. They're funny.
They're funny. I think they're cool. I just like guns.
They're cool.
They're cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
I told you I have Revolver Ocelot's gun.
Yeah.
A replica of Revolver Ocelot's gun, a newer model. But I don't have any bullets because that was a deal I made with my wife. I can get a gun, but I can't get any bullets because I'll blow my brains out.
Don't do that.
And she was right. I would have blown my brains out. But and Albert is pretty pissed about this town is actual garbage. Everything he points out, he's correct. We had all of this bad stuff happen in one night and nobody to do anything about it. And I'm with Albert.
Man?
I'm with Albert.
No, fuck, man. Where
fuck, you live in goddamn Los Angeles. What the fuck do you know about rural life?
I don't need to know anything, man. I'm here in my bubble.
Small town.
So why don't you stop bothering them in their Twin Peaks bubble?
I hate small towns. I fucking hate them. I hate them with every fiber of my fucking being.
Well, you're gonna know what I'm about to say with my hopeless romantic ass is that I've always romanticized a small town.
You would, if you lived there, everybody would know your fucking business.
No, I know that. That's why in the end I wouldn't want it. So
I used to.
It would be hard to maintain any kind of privacy.
I was dated someone who was from a small town. We would go to a small town, and they would know we were there before we got there. People would know we were there before we arrived in town. How?
They saw you walking over there.
Oh,
they already knew your plans.
Stressed me out. But we get something here. Leo couldn't be the killer because of Leo was in a hungry horse. Love it. Detective work. We get to see Andy being useful here. He called Hungry Horse Montana. He found out what was going. Like, that's intelligent. That's like, it shows a level of intelligence that we haven't really seen from him. We've seen him be active and shooting, but this is intelligence. He looked up a place. He found a place. He figured out what it could be. So Leo was in Hungry Horse Montana in jail when Teresa Banks was killed. But here's where I have a problem. They rule out Leo as the killer, but they don't entertain the possibility of there being 2 killers. Why couldn't Leo and Jacques work together, or Leo and someone else?
Yeah, that would have been interesting to bring.
And they dismiss it outright. Oh, Leo couldn't do it. He was in jail. Yeah, but if he's killing with someone, there's plenty of times we've seen serial killers kill together. We've seen this. It's not new. So I would have liked that to have been explored a little bit.
Maybe they couldn't because this is around the time when Lynch was getting pressure to end it, right? or to reveal the killer.
I don't
maybe?
think the first episode. I think it was coming. It may.
Oh, okay.
We don't know. We don't know. I don't know. It's possible, but even then, it would have nice to have been like an off-cuff comment, be like, "Well, it could have been two killers," and then they dismiss it for some reason. I just would have liked it to be entertained.
It probably would have gone that route if they didn't reveal the killer so early. You know, it probably could have gone that route.
Here's a question I have about that: Do you buy that he never wanted to reveal the killer? Do you buy that?
Yeah, why not?
David's
I'm sure
memory
eventually he
on
would have wanted to, but I think he would have wanted. I think he would have wanted to fucking really stretch it out for as long as fucking possible, and maybe he would be before he died would have revealed it. Some I don't know.
I mean, but even then, like, I almost don't believe it, because then he does Fire Walk with Me, where he reaffirms the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
So if he really didn't want to show the murderer, why would he make a whole movie about the murderer?
Well, because that's what he did with the art. It went that direction, so he made this with that.
But it only went that direction because they made him go that direction. Like, you'd think if he was, and you're wrong here, because he ignored Wyndham Earl, he ignored Annie, he ignored all the plot points he didn't like in The Return. He ignored.
Well, he couldn't just fucking go rogue on it. And
well, why not? He went rogue on everything else.
Well, he can maintain one important thing about it.
Well, yeah, but
one big important thing.
Your explanation is that he did this because he had to, but he didn't have to. He didn't have to do anything. He's David Lynch.
You know me, dude. I'm gonna allow as much as I want.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the reveal, and I don't mind. I love Fire Walk with Me. I don't mind any of it. I just don't know that I believe that he never intended. I don't know that I believe that story.
I don't know.
Because it doesn't really track. It doesn't really track with having other writers involved, with the things he does later. It just doesn't. For me, I think he wanted to drag it out longer, but I think he would have revealed it.
Well, here's what I was about to ask you though. Did he ever explicitly say that he never wanted to reveal the killer? Because I'm remembering him talk about how much juice the mystery of wondering who the killer is brought to the show, so that he wanted to stretch that out, didn't he?
Yes, he never did. So he's misquoted a lot of times, and I've even misquoted David once or twice, and then had to correct myself.
So has he explicitly said that he
has never explicitly said that I'm familiar with that he never wanted to show the killer.
Okay, well then, since we're talking about it and actually saying this, if he never explicitly said that he never wanted to reveal the killer,
now I'll look after we're done talking if he did. To the best of my knowledge, he has never actually said that.
Okay, my conditional statement is that if he never said that explicitly, then I think he just wanted to maybe stretch it out for as long as possible, and then eventually reveal it. You know, but for sure, squeeze out as much of that juice as he possibly could.
I think a big problem that they had here was that the second season was like 20 episodes.
Oh yeah,
it was too long. The first season was 7 episodes plus a pilot, and then you go from 8 episodes to 20. No. It's not going to work for me, pal. No. That's bullshit, in my opinion.
That's a lot, though. I mean, that's a huge increase. And that's more than double.
That's not a David thing. That's a network thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wanting to make a lot of money. For sure, right?
And so I think if Twin Peaks had been 3 7 to 8 episode seasons, it'd have been a lot better. Like for him, writing wise,
probably,
and for the show in general, because by the time we had episode 7 of the second season, and we're tapped out on fucking stories.
I get so satisfied with seasons that are so short, which is why I like BBC shows so much, like Peaky Blinders and shit, because it's like 6 episodes and
6 episodes. Did you finish Peaky?
Did you finish
Peaky?
No, because I'm waiting for it to come to Netflix. That's why
I'm on the last season. I haven't watched it yet. My baby mama, me and her watch it all the time, and she was like, "You know, Peaky Blinders," so I have it downloaded. So I'm gonna watch it. I love the 6 episode, 10 episode, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like seasons shouldn't be this like 24 episode slog.
Well, you don't really see that too much anymore. I think at most you see on average, I think
12.
maybe like 12. Yeah, 12. Yeah, 12.
Which even 12 can be a little bit too long. It can be.
Depends on what kind of show, yeah.
Depending on the show.
Yeah.
Of course. So we move on to Mike showing up with the shoe bag, which is totally useless. It goes nowhere. I don't know why.
He's just making himself look so weird in front of Lucy.
I don't even know like, why.
I'm here to sell him some shoes. Yeah.
This is the first opportunity. I don't even know why this is in the episode. This doesn't. He's gone for the rest of the episode.
It's just trying to bring in some weirdness to it, you know?
Yeah. And we go to James, who sucks. And I've got a problem with the James stuff as usual.
Laura said a lot of nutty stuff.
Yeah, he's got Jacoby's the necklace and he, Laura, would you like to play with fire? James says Laura said a lot of nutty stuff. Is that the weirdest thing Laura said, really, James? Because we see her saying crazier things, but he's like, that was a pretty crazy thing. Fuck you, you idiot.
She said this really scary poem about fire over and over.
And then Coop comes in and he's like, you got the necklace, you cunt. But Coop makes a big mistake here. Okay.
What's the mistake?
Because he says, if James had the necklace, he would have given it to us. But James was the one who originally hid it. So what do you mean? That's not true. That's obviously not true because James is the one who hid it originally.
Yeah.
But Coop directly says, well, if James had it, he would have given it to us. No, he wouldn't, because we know that's not true because we saw him not give it to you and hide it and break into someone.
He's wrong. He's wrong about that for sure.
And break into someone's house to steal it back for no reason. Because what does that prove? That Jacoby has a necklace that you hid? That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't mean anything. This necklace thing, once again, means nothing. I hate the necklace plot because it's this ongoing fucking plot that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I never really thought that. That's why like even what you're telling me about the necklace, like you're telling me why it doesn't make sense, but I'm like, oh, okay. Because I cared that little about the necklace, so I'm like, oh, okay, but I never noticed that, but okay, sure. Yeah. I'm letting it all slide by me.
It's a nothing, and it's dismissed pretty quickly.
I treat it that way, yeah.
Yeah. Lucy and Andy with Flesh World is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Her reaction is great when she opens it up.
Oh. I love Lucy. And Lucy's great. I mean, it's Lucy.
She's awesome.
And then we go to the hospital and we get this like long joke about the hospital food.
Yeah, it looks disgusting, dude.
What the fuck is going on with this hospital food? What do you think is going on? No, it's like bubbling pus of different fucking colors. And it's making Jacoby sick, like further sick.
Yeah.
Is the implication.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. I don't trust it. Just look at that. It looks like vomit soup.
And different colors of vomit.
It looks like the Exorcist vomit, no?
Just the green part, because it was green peas.
Yeah.
And they talk to Jacoby, and it goes nowhere. He didn't tell us anything we don't know,
Engine oil.
There's something, so it's reaffirmed that the person that beat him up is probably Leland.
Yeah.
Because of that engine oil thing. It's weird that it never comes up again. I'm always dismissive of that. But so here's the thing.
It comes up when not to Cooper in the case, but it comes up when Maddie says it in her final moment.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is that any of the lodge entities supposedly have that smell around them?
Do they?
According to the log lady and Pete in the later part of the second season, yes.
Oh, I gotta. I'll come across that then, and I'll see. You'll point it out to me.
But we'll just say, yeah, Leland reaffirmed that. You're right. Let's just say that for the sake of argument. Jacoby here, though, do you think he loses his license to practice psychiatry? Looking at the return, because he doesn't have it there. A, he's sleeping with patients. B, he's bad at his job. C, he's bad at his job, and D, he's sleeping with patients. Like, he definitely loses it because he's not a psychiatrist. He's Alex Jones for some reason in The Return. That I don't know why, but
It's really funny. I
because that's
love
what
it,
he
though.
is, right? That's what he's supposed to be, right? Like, he's
Yeah,
Alex
like
Jones.
it's your basic stereotype of conspiracy theorist online,
Coast to Coast AM. You know Coast to Coast AM?
Yes.
He's
My
the Coast
girlfriend
to
loves
Coast.
it.
I used to, when it was on the radio, it used to be on the radio. I would always be driving with a friend of mine who was a teetotaler, so he didn't drink, and we'd put it on, and we'd be on these long drives going home or doing whatever, and it coast to coast. Oh, I love it. I still listen to it. I love conspiracy theories. I love that the fact that they're mostly true at this point.
A lot of them have been like kind of proved true, right?
Not even a lot of them. Like every conspiracy theory outside of like the ridiculous, stupid ones are true. We literally have the FBI trying to get people to become white supremacists to shoot up places. Like that's
Jesus.
this is the past couple of days. Did you see that? There's like they have the FBI trying to get a kid to shoot up a place. Here's a fact for you. Here's a fact for you. Do you know who the biggest drug dealers in the world is?
US?
The FBI.
They run. Right.
Do you know who runs all of the pedophile rings on the dark web?
CIA?
The FBI.
FBI.
And they openly admit this. They do it so they can catch pedophiles, but they're the ones who run it.
Yeah, it's like, hey.
Our government doesn't even care that we know that they're criminals. They don't even care. They don't give a shit. We got Biden, who's openly like, I hate everybody. Fuck you guys, I'm a criminal.
He uncovered some interesting 9/11 stuff recently. No,
did you see Bush Jr. George W. giving a speech recently? What he said?
No, what did he say?
Oh, he said he's giving a speech about Russia, and he's talking shit about Putin, which is fine. And he goes, and he tried to start an illegal war in Iraq, and he went Ukraine, and he went Iraq. Like he couldn't even fucking keep it together.
That's wild. I can't believe you said that.
I have an endearing respect for W, just because he was like Iraq. Like he just like played it off like yeah, we know, and he didn't even give a shit. He didn't even give two shits.
His current painting persona doesn't hurt his image for sure.
No, I think he's untouchable at this point. He was untouchable before. I mean, he was in a dynasty. It's whatever. I don't want to get in the bush.
Yeah, that's all we're going to talk about that.
We get a genuinely sweet scene between Bobby and Shelley. I love Bobby and Shelley. I say this all the time. They're my favorite Twin Peaks couple. They're my favorite Twin Peaks couple. Mm-hmm. He cares, and I have one question about this though. What are his qualifications as a doctor? Because he's trying to be a doctor here. I'm a little uncomfortable with it.
Hey, man.
He's also looking down her top. Ain't nothing to see there. No offense, but they are
pretty sexy, dude. They're such a sexy couple.
They look. I like when couples look appropriate. Is that weird? Like I like that. Absolutely. They look appropriate. They're both good-looking people. They're both nice. They got big jaw. Like they have angular sort of faces.
Let me say this before you get to that moment in this scene. It's a really underrated I love you scene. It's a very fucking underrated I love you scene.
I was just about to talk about that. You knew that, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And you know why I like it? Is because it was sincere.
Bobby, you see the realization. It's a genuine realization within Bobby.
He didn't Han Solo it. He thought about it. He goes, I guess I love you too. Like this attraction has turned into a genuine affection. And he heard it and he went, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I love you too. And he
said it twice. He even said, he's like, yeah, I love you too.
I really like it. I really like that scene. I really like Bobby and Shelley.
Love it,
Um,
love it, love
and for the record, I say I love you on the first date. Get that shit
it.
right out of the way. I'm
Listen,
done.
I'll say this. The day that I was meeting my lady for the first time, I got a fucking heart necklace. It was just a necklace of an anatomically correct heart, right? And in anticipation of giving it to her and saying, yeah, I was planning on giving this to the girl that I'm gonna marry. So
Hey, you guys
yeah,
married?
she still has it. Not yet, but I mean
Oh,
we're gonna
okay.
be.
So that went well, huh?
I mean, we've been together for over 7 years and with kids, and that necklace is hanging in the
You
bathroom right
guys are
now
a
too.
lovely
So.
couple. You had a bit of a foible the other day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
want to tell us about that? You're not too
Well,
proud of
little
yourself
one.
about that?
No, dude, it's here. I can't hide behind glasses for this one. No, dude, it was awful. My little one had a fucking tantrum,
Well,
and
hold on. I want to say that he was spitting on himself when I saw him.
yes, so it was just a matter of time. So he started getting a little too wild, but
It
she
was just
eventually
coming up.
did.
It was coming up.
Well, yeah, he wasn't listening to anything. He wanted to just stand in place and not go to bed. And he had a tantrum, and then I let that get the best of me. I got really upset, kind of yelled, and then
I want to say you're really hard on yourself. It's it's difficult, man. Kids are hard, and you're too hard on yourself. I think if you can lose your temper, man. You can. It's okay as long as you put it in context afterwards, being like, "Hey, listen, sorry, I did this. I'm working on it, but it's okay to be mad. It's okay to feel feelings. You
you
get
know
so
what though?
upset. You get so upset about yourself that you're the wrong kind of person, and I think it's upsetting because
But
yeah, you know.
I think well, I appreciate that. That really means a lot because you're doing that on my you're feeling that on my behalf because with me, I'm holding myself accountable for the way I reacted after the fact. You know,
Which is also good. Which is also good.
so thank you. But it's just that because I was getting upset with my lady when she was doing nothing. She was just probably doing the logical thing and waiting for his tantrum just to phase out. But me, I'm guess I'm feeling manic and I'm like wanting her to match my energy or something and wanting her to like be actively like saying something, kind of praying for rain like the way I was. So yeah, dude, I let that get the best of me and we ended up like having a little
Here's the token.
argument about it.
Here's something. Neither of you are wrong. She's
Yeah,
allowed to
which is hard.
feel how you're. Here's the thing about relationships is both of your feelings are valid, but they need to meet somewhere. You're allowed to get mad. You're allowed to get mad, and she's allowed to feel the way she feels. But you guys gotta. I'm not saying about your relationship. This is just a general thing.
No, I get
Is
it.
that in the end of it, you have to have a conversation about it. It's like, hey, what can we do together to meet? Because obviously, I feel this way, and you feel this way. We need to meet here. We gotta fucking meet here.
That's exactly what we talked about that night. So
And
because here's the thing,
that's
dude.
hard.
Here, but you know what was really hard too, though, is that afterwards I had a bit of a fucking breakdown myself, though, because I was just, yeah, I think I had a bit of a weird, undiagnosed whatever I am breakdown.
Well, let me be frank with you. You're the average man nowadays. You're about this far from the breaking point.
Yeah,
On any given time.
And that's exactly what it felt like too, is that it just felt like a giant buildup of regret and just this awful feeling that I wasn't, that even like the non-religious God couldn't even fucking forgive me, because no, I was actually saying, like, even texting that to my girlfriend when we were talking, just I was saying that it feels like even God can't forgive me right now, that for like even reacting the way I did. It felt really awful. It felt really bad,
I've had a problem recently. I'm not feeling well. I've been in quite the state, and so I've been short tempered with my daughter. I've been a couple of times. I yelled at her, or I was a little short than I should have been, and I feel terrible about it. And I think at the same token, like, she's got to see me as a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm a person who has limits and feelings, and she has to understand that I'm a person too. And it's not all about them. And it's difficult because you want it to be about them. You want them to think that you're the kind of person that they want to be. But in the same token, like, they should see you as a person. And I don't like her seeing me in pain. But at the same token, if I'm in pain, what can I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
And if I'm short,
Yeah.
I tell her that. I said, honey, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not feeling well. I'm short-tempered. I'm sorry. But your son has to see you as a person. He has to see you as a human being. You're not
yeah,
just an anomalous figure. You're a person just like him. And you get mad, man, and you get upset, and it's okay. Because if he doesn't see you as a person, he's going to think of you as this guy that's just a more. And we grew up with this. I think our generation and generation boys grew up with a thinking of adults as a kind of like barrier that we couldn't get to. You know what I'm saying? Did you feel that way? Like,
in a sense, yeah.
But I want my daughter to feel like I'm a human being, and it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel good, and it's okay to be whatever you need to be.
Yeah, you know, because the thing is that I'm a late bloomer with maturing into feeling what my appropriately feeling my emotions the way I do, you know, and I'm trying to learn that so I can pass that on to my little guy, you know.
But okay, you say
to do
that
it the right way.
maybe he's the same way. Maybe he's a late bloomer emotionally. So he's going to have tantrums, and he's going to be upset, and he's going to be this way for a little bit. And all you can do is say, hey, man, that's not cool to do. We got to talk about things. We got to do, you know, I'm not trying to give you parental tips. This is not anything like that. I just,
I'm open to hearing
this is just how I feel. This is just how I feel, is that the best thing that I've learned is communication. Talk to them like they're an adult in some ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey,
definitely.
This is not cool. Because the other day, Ava's been biting. She bit her brother till he bled. And she bit me, and I was like, hey, I took her, she loves binkies, you know, the little binkies. And I took them, I said, you can have these back when we talk about what you did. And I said, when you apologize for biting me, that's all I want. That's all I want is an apology. So you understand that what you did was wrong. I'm not going to punish you in any other way. And it took her about a couple hours. She was like, hey, Dada, I'm sorry. I said, it's fine. Thank you for apologizing. Please don't bite people. Here's your stuff back.
It took a couple of hours, but at least you were patient enough to.
Well, I was patient as I could possibly fucking be, yeah. Because she's like her mom. If she's mad, she'll scream, and I check out. I don't even hear that shit. Ladies screaming doesn't do fucking anything for me. I'll ignore that shit all day long. I had a girlfriend. I had a girlfriend in high school that cried every single day. And I told you it was the girl that Jess picked on, my baby mama. I told you that story.
Yeah, you did.
And she come and cry, and I checked out. So a woman crying, you got good luck. If that's what you think is gonna get sympathy from me, because it ain't gonna fucking work. But you're a sap. You get hot here.
Yes.
And then you get sad here, and it's like it's a snap.
Yeah, it's hard to balance.
Are you what's it? Whenever you have highs, the dizzying highs and lows.
I might maybe borderline. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say there's a bad thing. It's just something you could think about.
No, it's something.
Manic depressive. Is that's what it's called? Manic depressive.
I think that's part of it, right?
Yeah. And you know, I think it's good that you recognize that you have a up and down.
I do recognize it. I mean, but I do bring that into my considerations when I'm thinking about a lot of things.
And kids are fucking annoying too, man. they'll test you. They'll test you. All right?
Dude, my son loves to test me. My
Well,
son fucking loves to test me.
but here's the thing: he's testing his limitations.
I know.
He doesn't know what they are.
Yeah.
He has no idea what kids have no idea what limitations are. We're broken. We're broken. We know our limitations are so much further back.
It's hard to remember that too. That we're so fucking broken that
You know
we
what's a
our
good show for that?
limitations.
Rugrats.
Oh yes. I gotta put that on for him because I love Rugrats, dude. I love
you know what-
Rugrats.
So two things about Rugrats. A, you know it's Doctor Who, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The creator said
Tommy's Doctor Who.
Tommy Screwdriver. It's just
Yep.
Doctor Who.
Even like some of the toys they show in the Toy Story,
Well,
like
Daleks, yeah. And also, it's funny that it's the guy who did Aeon Flux is the guy who did Rugrats.
Interesting.
Weird. One's really sexual.
Interesting. Yeah,
One's
very.
Really sexual, and one
it was
is
a really cool show. Really cool show.
One is like a super sexual show about these sexy characters, and one is Aeon Flux. And I want.
Stupid.
That was a little too much. That was a little too much, huh? That
was hilarious. That was really funny though.
Dude, so my ex that I was with for about 9 years, Adrian, looked a little bit like.
Sorry, I'm still recovering from
still
that.
on the fucking.
That was so funny. That was so funny.
I want to say that Angelica's mom. Oh, she did got it. She
would have gotten a big kick out of that one.
Fucking ponytail.
I got a hilarious kick out of that.
Oh, so I had an ex that looked like Aeon Flux a little bit, like the Charlize Theron version. She hated it. She hated it. What the fuck was I talking about? And also,
we should probably get back to talking about the show.
Let me get the story. This is what this is about. This is just about talking, right? This is what this show is about.
I know, but the Twin Peaks one should be maybe a little bit on track.
Oh
just a little bit.
Hey, you want to be on track? Why don't you lead these fucking shows for once, you piece of shit?
No. You're doing it just fine, dude.
And we get the story about Hank and Nadine and Ed.
That's sad.
I really like his Cooper's reaction when he says he shot her out. He's like, whoa. He's like, what's good? He's ready to fucking throw hands. And the smiling bag thing, a little bit of a stretch.
It is.
But I get where they're coming from. It's funny enough. And then we get one of my favorite scene in Twin Peaks. I'm going to say this unabashedly. My favorite scene in Twin Peaks. Garland and Bobby and his dream.
Oh, dude. Yes, that's one of the best ever.
This is my favorite.
I cried. I was finishing watching it today, and I cried again watching. I cry every time that scene comes on.
It's like I watch it all the time. I genuinely do, and I think about what it is to be a father when I watch that a lot.
Yeah,
a lot. Garland. This is the first time we see Garland in a way that's not kind of like a stern father figure. You know what I mean? We see him as
it's really first time. We see him as a bit of an understanding father figure, though. And
yeah, but he's still the first time we see him, he kind of slaps Bobby, and there's a little bit of sternness. We see him as stern a little bit, unapproachable. You know,
this is a much different, more spiritual side of him.
But also, they still retain that unapproachableness because he says, "What do you do for a living?" And he's like, "Well, that's." Classified. So he still has that unapproachable sort of balance, but we see the genuine love he has for his son and the unabashed affection that he says, "Hey son, come over, eat with me." He wants to eat with his son. He wants to spend time with him. He wants to tell him that he loves him. He wants to tell him that he had dreams about him. He wants to tell him that I hope that everything's okay for you.
Everything about the way he welcomed it too, because did you even notice he didn't give him any shit about smoking?
No, he said nothing.
Anything. He said nothing.
I think part of it's the mom's not there. So he's kind of kind of being the fun dad a little bit, because people do.
I get that.
Yeah,
I buy that. Yeah.
he's like, because he said he didn't really mind that he smoked, because he smokes when they're going to go see Laura's funeral, I believe, doesn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
So we know that Garland, he kind of has rules that I think he feels like he has to follow, but in the same token, he doesn't care about some of those things all that much. I think what he wants is his son to know that everything's okay, but it's difficult. We talked about this just a second ago with kids. It's difficult to be that guy.
Yeah.
And Bobby's reaction is very genuine. He sees, he melts.
He really does. Because he doesn't, he never really knew that his dad saw him in that way. He never really understood that he does have genuine, true love for him, fatherly love.
In that way.
Yeah.
Best scene in the show for me personally.
I can definitely agree with you for sure.
We then get a rundown by Coop and Albert of Laura's last night. Nothing we don't know. They said nothing. Yeah. And Andy calls Albert Rosenfeld.
Always the wrong last name.
Then we move to Pete and Harry. I mentioned before, Pete and Harry together. I love it. Love. So Pete's good. Okay. He's got a little bit of cough. Josie went to Seattle to shop, but she left Pete some ginger beer. Now, I'm a big ginger beer fan because I like Moscow Mules.
Moscow Mules are good. I've only had them once, but they're good.
Ginger beer
in the copper cup and everything.
Cups, yeah. So I used to run a couple of bars. So reps give you stuff. I have like 90 copper cups. Because vodka reps will give you copper cups to make Moscow Mules. So you make sure you make it with their vodka. And Tito's. Oh, where'd you go?
Sorry, lost you.
Tito's, the vodka from Texas, was our house vodka. And to be our house vodka, they would give us copper cups every month.
Oh, nice.
That was kind of cool. I took most of them when we closed on that place. But and Pete's great here. Pete, I just love Pete. And him
what's not to love about him?
He's reading the broken English. Going to and shop, like it's so exaggerated. Then we see random evil guy, and I want to talk about Jerry and Ben here for a second. Jerry talks about a recipe here, and it's total gibberish. Talks about a head, dipped it in blancmange pudding. Blancmange pudding, you can't dip it in. It has gelatin in it. It's like a Jell-O kind of thing. Okay. You can't dip in blancmange pudding. It's hard. Then they roll. So they take a head. I presume a cow or a lamb's head. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about France, and they dip it in blancmange pudding, which can't happen. And then they roll it in oats and stuff with walnuts and hot rocks. Is what he says. Then they put papillon, which is incorrect. It's papillon, which is a French pastry, which you use for like beef Wellington kind of thing. And then they bake it under glass.
Yeah, I don't.
None of this, as a chef.
It's all nonsense, right?
None of this. But you probably didn't even notice it, did you? You probably just like, oh, okay.
No, I know, I didn't. No, of course not.
You can't dip in blancmange pudding. It's a fucking molded. It's a molded pudding, and none of this. You're stuffing it with hot rocks and then baking it under glass with pastry over it. What the fuck are you talking about, Jerry? And I love this because it's something that most people wouldn't notice because it's so.
I didn't notice it.
it fits with Jerry being a liar, like just a ridiculous liar.
He says things that no one's really going to think
And
about.
have you noticed that he does this all the time? He talks about all this ridiculous HEPA and this food and this. He just talks about all this ridiculous stuff that's not true. And this is a perfect example of that, but you wouldn't even notice it unless you knew how to cook. Like the level of cook. It's not even like
What
cooking.
you do.
It's the
What you
level.
do.
It's not even like knowing how to cook. It's the level of cooking to know what blancmange pudding is. Because you've got to be like you wouldn't, even a regular cook wouldn't know what the fuck that is. What the fuck are you talking about? And I like that then Ben can't find Audrey. He's like, you seen Audrey?
And he just doesn't really pay much mind to it after.
And Jerry's like,
no one can.
Ain't seen her. And I'm just
like, okay, go on with the rest of my day.
That whole scene, and they meet with Hank, which is funny. I don't know what we're supposed to get from this Hank meeting. Then we move to Audrey in red high heels and a slip. Money for me, as far as I'm concerned.
Don't you love that shot? I love that there's like a nice stationary camera that doesn't move at all. It's right there at the like top of the room.
Just the whole.
It's the way it's angled, body, and then when she's leaning on that surface, whatever it is, that's such a fucking great shot. Dude.
They sexied up Audrey here quite
yeah, they did. Yeah,
which she's objectively incredibly beautiful, even to this day, despite the fact that I think she's fucking crazy. I see her posts. That woman is insane, and I would still take her out for a drink and whatever. Rick Rude, the guy in the back looks like Rick Rude with the mustache.
I didn't know this.
You don't know who Rick Rude is. And
wrestler.
Yeah, Blackie's been not too happy because Audrey's not been a good whore, so she slaps her. Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing much coming from this scene, but we see that. Then we get the dinner scene with the other sister, Donna. So this is a Gersten, who we see here, and then 25 years later.
In a totally different situation.
I think this is the only 2 times we see her, right?
Yeah. Those are the only 2 times.
What the fuck is with the sisters? Is with the Donna's sisters? What the fuck is with Donna's sisters?
But you know what? I was listening to the poem that she reads off while she's playing that beautiful piano. Like, it actually is really nice and valid to a lot of the stuff that happens overall in the series.
I think it was nice, especially to have the family, Laura's family there, and to read them a poem because they're family friends, and Laura and Donna were friends, and I think it was really nice. I think there's a nice scene here.
Well, I also will say that there was a really good amount of humor brought to it because of Sarah. Because she was just like Sarah over all of it. She was like fucking like she
doesn't get enough credit. I just reviewed a Werner Herzog film, My Son, What Have Ye Done, which was a terrible film, by the way. But she was amazing in it.
Nice.
She plays Michael Shannon's mother. Okay. And she's incredible. Grace Zapowski.
Great,
but she doesn't always get, who didn't see People Under the Stairs? Is it you?
Me, yeah.
Is that you? What a cunt. What a cunt you are.
I know.
That wasn't her. Either way, it's just for the record. That was Nadine and Ed. But I just want to call you a cunt.
I know. I was going to say, was she in it too?
No, I just wanted to call you a cunt.
Okay, thank you.
Then Leland's scene.
Fucking God.
Leland's the fuck out of this scene.
He's in a fucking tuxedo.
Come on, get happy. Yeah, what is it? He's in a tuxedo. He's in a fucking tuxedo. I didn't think about that. He's in a tuxedo for no. He's like Jack Donaghy. You know what I mean? It's after 6. I'm in a tuxedo. Come on,
Oh
yeah. And we get a great ending. Audrey is praying. She's in over her head. We see the note is missing. It's under the bed.
Mm-hmm.
And the giant had mentioned that you're missing something. You're missing something. And the giant comes to Cooper. They talk about Bob. 3 have seen him, but not his body. They hint about Mike, not Snake, just a regular Mike. And the last scene was legitimately scary.
Dude, it's one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen.
With Ronette, that shit was legitimately well done.
Really
horror.
fucking terrifying. So good.
And this is going into my opinion of the episode. This episode was the perfect mixture of comedy, drama, and horror.
Yes. And also, for anyone who fucking came into this season missing any of that goddamn Red Room shit in episode 3, you get that feel of it in the first 5, however many minutes of the episode, you know, with the slow pacing, with the old guy, Senior Drool Cup.
Drool Cup.
Yeah.
I wish that the show had been more of this. The second season, especially. This pacing, this intensity, this level of writing, this character development. Everybody in this, outside of outside of Ben and Jerry, who were, I'm going to be honest with you, were totally useless and kind of cunts in this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in this had something they were doing.
It was good, dude.
The plot moves.
Super good.
The story. This is the level of frustration I have with this show, is because we get episodes like this and it's so fucking good. And it's so it's
amazing.
Beautiful. This episode is borderline perfect. Borderline
the rest of the episode is it's hard for the rest of the season to live up to this kind of greatness, dude.
And it doesn't even get close. Doesn't even get none of the season except for the last episode of this season. So we've got 20 episodes between here and there.
I think the whole reveal and all that stuff leading up to that, I love that, and I still have a genuine love for a lot of the stuff that happens.
I think 2. You're gonna on a rewatch, you're going to not
probably just dislike a little bit more, because
it's not written as well as you think it. The first viewing, the first 4 viewings of Twin Peaks, you think it's all brilliant, and then
you start seeing flaws, huh?
And the first season doesn't have a lot of flaws. It doesn't. The first season is pretty tight. It's tight, condensed, 7 episodes. Bam. My big complaint about the first season is that the pilot is a little boring. That's my big complaint, and that's not even a big complaint. The pilot's a little boring, and the necklace stuff doesn't go anywhere. That's it. That's not a big complaint. Those aren't big complaints.
That's totally fair.
My complaint with season 2 is that it's 3 good episodes and then fucking 18 shitty ones.
It's a good amount of crappy ones.
And people want to dismiss it and go, the only thing I liked was Tajimura because it was so bad. Because it was so fucking bad. But we'll get into that. I can't stand some of season 2.
We both agree this episode is one of the greatest episodes in any television.
This might be one of the greatest episodes in television history.
Yes, I agree.
I think about seasons of shows I liked. True Detective season 1.
Need to watch it.
Lost season 5.
Need to watch it. Need to watch all of it.
Twin Peaks episode 1 of season 2. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to not say that's up there. It's up there, man.
Totally.
This surpassed all of season 1 in 1 episode. Cooper looked competent. The cops weren't idiots. The bad guys were bad guys. We got plot. We just got so much. I hate it. I hate that it's this good, because the fall is quite thorough.
We'll talk about it for sure. If you're cool, I think we'll we'll end it on the agreement that it's one of the fucking greatest episodes in
Are we
television history.
we're ending it? We're ending
If that's cool. Is that cool?
I don't give a fuck. You're the one who says it. Yeah.
Yeah, is that cool? Let's go ahead. We had a lot of banter in this one. I like it.
What?
I like
Hey,
it.
that's what the show's about. It's about banter.
Yeah.
Next episode will be episodes that movies that we.
Oh, we're doing the opposite of what we did before, right?
What was it?
I think this time we're doing movies that we love that everybody hates, right?
Which this is gonna be easier for you and harder for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be the opposite.
Because
I think this is the one where I'm gonna wait. Isn't this the one where we agreed that I'm gonna have to think of 5 and you're gonna do 1 because that's what I did?
I'm gonna do 5 because I'm not bad. I'm not bad at my job. So
okay.
I think I'm gonna have a hard time thinking of 5 films that
you love that everybody hates,
because I don't even.
It can't be unfounded. You have to be.
People don't even know the movies that I like most of the time.
Well,
I like
you can
films that nobody even has heard of.
Do yourself a favor. Look up those movies and find reviews and find the people who can't understand them. It's hilarious.
I think it's a little unfair.
It's a fun practice. It's a fun practice.
Because you had like one movie, and I don't know what the fuck you don't know nothing.
It was a Christmas story. It was a Christmas story.
I don't like Christmas Story either.
I know. You agreed with my choice. But no, I think it would be fun practice and then attempt to appropriate your choice as one you can list for a movie that you love that everybody hates.
I'm gonna have to think
by searching as interestingly bad review.
But I do my research on this stuff. I can do everything else.
I don't.
Well, if you had listened to any of my reviews,
but I have relatively well knowledge of a movie that is like really hated because it is. You can kind of cheat with this, right? You can find any community or little group of people that hate the movie, right? And use that as reason to list it.
You can, but we're thinking more broad strokes.
I suppose like by critics,
Yeah.
Bad reviews by critics. Thumbs down by Ebert.
I don't really hate everything. I didn't even mention. Did I mention Fight Club in the last one? I hate Fight Club because it sucks.
Okay, there you go. So you can't mention that coming up.
Well, I certainly would.
No. It's not part of it though, because you don't love it. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just saying things I just dislike because I dislike everything.
Okay. Well, that's
it's easy for me to dislike things because I dislike a lot of things. And the things I like, plenty of people know.
No one knows it.
No, plenty of people do, but like it's not a big community. It's not a big thing. A lot of people aren't on the Tsukamoto bandwagon like they should be.
I'm not.
You've never seen any of his fucking movies.
It's only through ignorance. It's only because of ignorance. So because I haven't seen.
Well, you're supposed to watch Bullet Ballet, and you haven't.
It's still on my list. I still haven't rented. I think I have only a few days left.
And then you paid the $2 or whatever.
I have a few days left to watch it. I think so. I have to get
watch the fucking movie. I watched your cunt fucking movie. You cunt.
Dude, I tried watching it again. It's so bad.
Yeah. You picked the fucking movie.
I haven't seen it in years. I wish I could give you a different movie.
No, I watched it and reviewed it. Shut the fuck up. Or that's the movie.
That's fine. I'm gonna find shit that I like about it and keep that up.
Like,
anyways, we'll talk about
a cool vibe. It's got a cool vibe. You're a cunt.
It's Steven Dorff walking in slow motion to cool music.
It's not even Steven Dorff. It's fucking the other guy. It's the other guy. It's not even Steven Dorff.
It's Steven Dorff.
No, it's not.
That's Steven Dorff.
In what's the movie?
In SFW.
Is that Steven Dorff? Holy shit.
Yeah, Steven Dorff, dumbass.
Oh my god. I thought it was what's his name? The whole fucking time. What's his name?
I don't know.
The Steven Dorff guy. The guy.
Oh, Christian Slater.
I thought it was Christian Slater the whole fucking time.
Looks fucking nothing like him.
They look exactly the fucking same. Look exactly fucking. They sound alike. I reviewed this movie as if it was Christian Slater. I'm serious.
Jesus Christ! Calm down.
Exactly the same. Exactly. Movie makes no fucking sense. It's garbage.
It's a fun little movie though.
Is that Renee Zellweger?
Yeah, early Renee Zellweger. Around the time she did like Overnight Delivery, I think.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I didn't see the one that she was
with handsome Texas fella.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. Isn't it weird that we live in a world where there was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger did together?
I'm glad we live in that. I'm glad we live in that world.
And nobody will talk about it because it doesn't exist. Because he will, but she won't. She's like, I never did Texas, never heard of it. And he's like, yeah, it sucked. Like, he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I did that, man. I know.
You never saw True Detective season 1?
No, I need to watch it. I heard it's amazing. You're upset with me.
A little bit. Yeah, it's one of the probably the greatest season of television on history.
I'm gonna
Do you like Lovecraft? Do you like Lovecraft?
Yeah, we were talking. Well, from what I've seen A Color Out of Space.
Seen. Read some Lovecraft, you cunt.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like Lovecraft visual.
No, read some Lovecraft, man.
Okay, I will. I haven't read any Lovecraft.
Despite his don't ask what his cat is called, but the rest of it's fine.
I don't give a shit what his cat is called. I'll find out eventually. Anyways,
you know the joke, right? He was a race. His cat's called the N-word cat.
Oh, got it.
The N-word cat. Yeah.
Cool. I think it just flew over my head. I'm sorry.
Well, and the N-word is right.
Yes.
His cat, because he was a racist.
Okay.
So he had a black cat called N-word cat.
It's kind of funny.
It's a little funny. It's a little funny. It's not great. It's a little funny. It's not great though.
No, it's not appropriate. It's really awful. But
it's still funny though. I mean,
if you want to laugh at it, you can.
I mean, he was a weird shut-in. What am I going to say? He is who he is.
Oh, okay. I think we're good.
All right, this was the Dark Punks Poop Cast.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
It was fun.
Good night. Shut up. Talking.